Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Bit of a different setup today. I'm visiting my sister right now, so we are on mobile recording mode, which does include a strange glowing blue microphone. Yes, I tried to turn it off. No, I couldn't get it to turn off. Lightsaber mic is what we're working with today. So a few weeks ago, I made a video called Dissecting a YouTube Reactionary. After that was posted, the creator that I talked about in it, a Cheeto, released a response video titled My Response. There I am again in the thumbnail. That's me, purple boy.
Purple boy.
This response was interesting. A Cheeto starts the video off by admitting that he was wrong about some things, and that he wants to change these things about his content moving forward. Things like letting people finish making their points before responding in his reaction videos.
In this new video, he argues that in my reaction to him, I cut him off before he's able to make an entire point, and that if I didn't cut him off, I would be able to better understand his arguments and then refute his argument. So that's a fair criticism, and if I ever make a video on somebody like him in the future while they're making points, I'll try not to cut them off.
Not commenting on people's lives when he doesn't know them.
Obviously, I have no clue how this guy lives 90% of his life, so for me to just say that, it's like, I don't know what the guy does.
And doing better to explain what his problems with content are before just making fun of it.
He also made another good point, which is when I read his titles in my video, I didn't really explain why they were bad or why I had a problem with it. I just kind of read them and assumed that you guys understood what was wrong with them.
You might say that these things are the bare minimum, and maybe that's the case. But what it does show me is that a Cheeto was willing to listen to at least some of what I had to say. And that's something that can't really be said about most reactionary internet figures. When's the last time you saw Ben Shapiro admit that he was wrong about something and that he was going to change that aspect of his content going forward? Never. You haven't seen that ever, and you never will. However, after these opening concessions, the rest of a Cheeto's video is framed as a rebuttal. He goes through my points, attempting to refute them by asking questions and providing counterarguments. And here's where we start to run into some issues. For starters, a Cheeto's basic misconceptions about concepts like fat phobia remain on full display. He wonders aloud why someone that goes to the gym, like myself, isn't also automatically fatphobic like him.
What I don't get though about Noah Samson is if he does go to the gym and he understands the importance of it, because if you go, you kind of get why you're going, then how does he fall into the herd of people that are like, oh, fat phobia is evil? How can you think fat phobia is this pressing issue, but then go to the gym?
He doubles down on his support of Kevin Samuels, going so far as to suggest that criticism of misogyny is not valid if the misogynist is dead.
So I think you can definitely criticize people's actions in their life, especially if their actions are horrid. If somebody dies who, I don't know, killed people, there is no respect to be had for them after they die. Right? But what did Kevin Samuels do that you think is so bad that you need to shit on him even after he died? Because all I'm hearing from you is that you think he is a misogynist. He didn't go out and shoot a bunch of people, so this whole actions can be criticized thing doesn't really fit. From what I know about this guy, he just talked.
All of this is pretty silly, in my opinion, and I wouldn't be responding to this video if it weren't for a single point that he makes. Towards the end of his video, a Cheeto misconstrues a minor point that I made in a pretty serious way. When I pointed out how the framing of one of the videos on his channel played into a popular current trend of anti-LGBTQ rhetoric, he took this personally, as an accusation that he was causing hate crimes.
I would say this is one of the most important points in the video that really made me mad, and I think was just wrong in so many ways, was that this guy tried to insinuate that my videos contribute to hate crimes. So this is a crazy fucking claim, okay? To say that a YouTuber either directly or indirectly contributes to actual hate, violent crimes, right? People, shootings, right? And stabbings and murders and all that, right? To insinuate that somebody is at all tied to that is a huge claim.
Because of this, he goes on to denounce any terrorists in his audience.
Noah, none of my audience are terrorists. Nobody who watches my videos is influenced by terrorist ideologies. And if you do hold terrorist ideologies where you're gonna threaten to hurt people in real life, unsubscribe and leave. You are not welcome here.
I suppose that's good, but that's, not the point that I was trying to make. In this video today, I will be attempting to make that point again, but clearer. To do this, I will be going a little bit deeper into the context surrounding this current wave of online anti-LGBTQ misinformation. We are going to talk about this misinformation, how it is utilized online by bigots to promote hatred, and sustained by the less malicious but equally as ignorant actors like a Cheeto. For this video, I got the opportunity to speak with someone that's been directly affected by this situation, a queer mom who has been posted on Libs of Tik Tok and harassed by this bigoted media pipeline. I do think that this will be helpful for us to better better understand the gravity of situations like these, which are becoming all the more common. So that's the plan for today. Sponsor. Thank you to Fabulous for sponsoring today's video.
Thank you.
So I'm a little freak for productivity and habit tracking apps, and that's why I was really excited when Fabulous reached out to partner with me for this video. Me, digital coach. Me, behavioral science. Me, habits for a better life. They want me to say all this crap, but I'm just gonna show you how I use this thing because it's really simple and cool, and it works really well in my opinion. So open up the app, and we're greeted with our 3 daily routines: morning, afternoon, and evening, each with their own alarm. To see what's in your routines, just tap on them, and you'll see the habits you've chosen, all listed out, ready to go, ready to be checked off. With these self-improvement endeavors, it's really easy to get overwhelmed and stop using them. So to avoid this, I have all my habits ordered, starting with the simplest ones. When I get my morning routine notification, usually around when I'm waking up, I just have a quick drink of water. Simple, easy, done, check. Short walk, just 5 minutes. Okay, I can do that. Throw the shoes on, get moving, get the brain going for the day. Awesome, boom, boom. I have the next habit listed as eating a great breakfast, which is usually just a cup of black coffee for me. Yes, I am one of those types of freaks. I'm sorry. And then we have meditate at the end. That's pushing it. That's definitely pushing it. But if I've already done the 3 others, why not make that 4th circle green? Doesn't take that long. Usually feels really good. You can add, remove, and reorder each routine's habits to fit your needs. There are tons of great options to choose from. Start building your ideal daily routine today. The first 100 people to use the link in the description will get 25% off on Fabulous Premium. Thank you, and good job, and thanks. Now back to the video. So in America right now, there's a moral panic going on. Republicans and conservatives are using mass media to discriminate against LGBTQ people, trans people especially, by attempting to conflate being gay or trans with pedophilia and child grooming. The growth in popularity of this rhetoric coincides with a recent assault on LGBTQ rights in various forms of legislation across the country. Now, none of this is anything we haven't seen before. Anyone familiar with the history of LGBTQ rights movements will tell you pitting the supreme moral good of innocent children against the supreme moral evil of child grooming has long been a powerful tool in stoking hatred among the religious conservative right. It's been a tactic used against gay and trans people for decades. However, the repeated use of the word groomer to describe visible gay and trans people in an online context has a recent and specific origin. In March of this year, Florida passed House Bill 1557. Critics of the bill dubbed it the Don't Say Gay bill, and rightfully so, because that's basically what the bill does. From lines 97 to 101 of the bill, classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through grade 3, or in a manner that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with state standards. What does any of this mean? Who knows? What we do know is that because of the vagueness of its language, teachers could potentially be fired for being gay and mentioning that fact in any capacity in class. In response to this accurate rebranding of the bill by critics, Florida's press secretary, Christina Pushaw, pushed back, writing on Twitter, "The bill that liberals inaccurately call Don't Say Gay would be more accurately described as an anti-grooming bill." Pushaw went on to insinuate that anyone that's against this bill is aiding in the grooming of children at the very least. If you're against the anti-grooming bill, you are probably a groomer, or at least you don't denounce the grooming of 4 to 8-year-old children. Silence is complicity. Since these tweets, groomer has been mainstreamed as a way to demonize school officials, usually teachers, that provide any sort of education about LGBTQ issues. And when it comes to the online space, nowhere will you see grooming accusations thrown around more than in the Twitter replies to Libs of Tik Tok. Libs of Tik Tok is a Twitter profile with 1.4 million followers that serves as a hotbed of anti-LGBTQ disinformation. The account posts TikToks of teachers, school events, or young people a part of the LGBTQ community, usually out of context, in order to falsely frame them as groomers or grooming victims. Rhetoric from this account can be directly tied to literal hate crimes, drag events being stormed by armed far-right militias, healthcare workers facing violent threats, and teachers being fired for being openly LGBTQ. Chaya Raichik, the Libs of Tik Tok account owner, often actually tags the school districts and school accounts of the teachers that she posts, urging them to be fired, once again, for being gay, or like displaying pride flags in class or whatever else. Here she is bragging about one of her tweets that got this teacher fired in 2021.
Before we watch the next one, did anything happen to this particular teacher?
Yeah, this one got fired actually.
Are you serious from this video?
Yeah, it was crazy. And the next day, a bunch of people in that community showed up to the school and they put American flags around the entire school. I posted
Wow.
videos of it. It was really cool.
Really cool stuff here, for sure. Very cool. Thank you. Libs of TikTok is frequently cited by Tucker Carlson, Laura Ingraham, the freaks over at the Daily Wire, and basically any right-wing media outlet you can think of. If they have an anti-LGBTQ agenda, they're using Libs of TikTok as a source for content. Christina Pusha. Oh, there she is again. She frequently interacts with and shares content from this account. Okay, just a quick editor's note. So apparently Libs of TikTok has been suspended from Twitter again. It's just a 7-day suspension though, which is odd because they've already had one of those before. Usually if you've received one, you don't get a second one. You just get permabanned. So not sure what's going on there, but I will leave any updates about it in a pinned comment. So if Fox News, Daily Wire, and Libs of TikTok are all the primary drivers of this moral panic in media, then where does our guy Cheeto fit in? What is his role and why is he even a part of this video? And well, as I put it before, his role is that of the useful idiot. Now, I must first clarify here, calling someone a useful idiot is not the same thing as just calling them an idiot. Useful idiot is a political term with a specific meaning. It actually has roots in Red Scare anti-communism, which we do not like to see, but when I use it, it is very communist and quite very much epic. Based on a Cheetos response, it seems like he just maybe hasn't heard this term before, and that's okay, but we do need to go over it because I think this misunderstanding might have colored his response to what I was saying.
So he tries to prove this by saying, in my video, Psycho TikTok Mom accidentally gets exposed that I'm an idiot for reacting to a Libs of TikTok Twitter post. So he very quickly goes from a Cheeto was apparently dishonest for framing a video a certain way to a bomb threat was called into a fucking children's hospital and he's an idiot for not being more careful with what he talks about because then he could make a video that's going to make somebody threaten a hospital.
A useful idiot is a person that propagandizes for a cause without fully comprehending the cause's goals. In this case, the cause in question is this anti-LGBTQ disinformation pipeline. Libs of TikTok posts a video framing gay parents or teachers as groomers. Fox News and all the rest broadcast this framing in order to demonize this community of people with the end goal of stripping them of their rights, of legislating away their humanity. A Cheeto contributes to this pipeline by uncritically sharing a false story from this same source. And while his motivations may not be the same as these other outlets, he is ultimately helping them with their agenda by sharing this story, whether he knows it or not. We went over it in my last video, but just to get anyone up to speed that didn't watch that, the story in question was related to a clip from a TikTok live stream. During this live stream, a mom was supposedly exposed by her son for convincing him to be a part of the LGBTQ community. A Cheeto, who found the clip on Libs of TikTok, plays it in his video, pausing intermittently to insinuate that the mom was being exposed, implying that she was, in fact, a groomer, grooming her son to be gay.
And if I'm not a part of it, she'll try to convince me to join it.
Join what?
The LGBTQIA+ community.
Bro, you got caught. The fact that this kid was reading a question that says, does your mom say you have to be LGBT? That's just not a question that should ever have to be asked because no parent should ever be making their kid become LGBT. Just the fact alone that that question was asked is alarming to me and raises some red flags right off the bat. My mom doesn't care which sexuality I am as long as I'm not straight, you know? That's what I gathered. And if that's what it turns out to be, bro, we got some problems. Like, I might have to talk to your mom, you know what I'm saying?
Now, a Cheeto does go through and search for the full clip of this stream and plays that in his video. After doing this, he concludes that the mom was not a groomer and that the kid had just misspoken.
Okay, so it's good that the mom eventually said, like, yeah, I wouldn't force my kid to be gay or LGBT, because that's sort of what it was sounding like for a little bit.
Him doing this is better than if he hadn't. He looked into it further and added context that was missing from when it was originally posted, so credit where it's due for that. However, at that point, it didn't really matter. It was too late, the damage had already been done. The main takeaway from members of his audience was that the mom had groomed her kid into being gay, and that this is indicative of some broader trend in society that the gay community should be ashamed of. Let's look at some of the comments from his video. This is one of those times where I have to say I'm ashamed to be a part of the LGBT. This should be considered child abuse if it isn't already. You can't force a kid to be some way, and even then, this kid is way too young to be having discussions like that. If a child this young is going to come out as gay, it'll be by saying, "Mommy, I like this boy," or "Mommy, I like this girl," not by saying that they are part of the LGBTQ. Celebrate inclusivity if your child says their crush is the same gender, not by convincing your kids they need to be a part of it. These people give us a bad name. I would never try to force LGBTQ down someone's throat. You can educate your children on LGBTQ when they are old and mature enough. Forcing it upon them is just downright wrong. These are just a handful of the many responses to a Cheetos video that serve as explicit evidence that he's spread anti-LGBTQ misinformation by presenting the story the way that he did. Regardless of intent or perceived due diligence by showing the full video, the audience has come away with the false notion that grooming was taking place by a gay person where it was not. Now, a counterpoint someone might bring up here is that, well, Noah, people don't always watch YouTube videos until the end. If a Cheetos audience didn't watch the video until halfway when he corrected himself, can he really be blamed for that? And, well, yeah, in some sense, I think he can. Titles and thumbnails convey information. They prime the viewer for what they are about to see. They are, after all, the main motivating factors that influence whether or not someone might click on your video. His title references a mom being exposed, and his thumbnail references her son's young age and the fact that he is gay. For the first half of the video, his narration obviously implies grooming. He compares what happens to the kid as being convinced to do other activities.
Like, I get encouraging your son to try new things. Like, if your son isn't on the basketball team and you want him to join it, you say, "Oh, you know, I'm gonna convince my son to join the basketball team." But when it comes to, like, being gay, that's not the sort of thing that you try to convince your son to do. This to me seems like the most obvious shit on planet Earth, but forced homosexuality is just like especially from a parent, like, why would you do that?
All of this falls perfectly in line with these prominent culture war narratives about the gay agenda and radical leftism going too far and coming for your children. When people click on this video, they are looking for evidence of a mom being exposed, and for the first half of the video, that's what they get. Not exposed for being a bad parent because her kid is swearing on a live stream or has their hair dyed blue, as a Cheeto later tried to argue in his video.
Then the kid also reads a message in chat that he didn't like and was like, "Shut up, bitch," and then the mom like laughs. So I'm just basically seeing a mom who's streaming on TikTok live talking about pansexuality with her 8-year-old son, and then her daughter with bright green dyed hair, and then the son is cussing up a storm on stream, and I'm just like, man, like, okay, you're a mom, but you're not a good one, bro. You're getting exposed on your own TikTok live as being a bad mom.
No, this evidence is used to insinuate her being exposed for child grooming, something that he knows to be false. All of this plays into the framing that gay and trans parents and teachers are groomers without having to say so outright. He may be ignorant to the broader context of these narratives, but that doesn't excuse his participation in sustaining them. So I got an opportunity to speak with Shea Ellis, the mom from that TikTok live stream, about that clip of her and her family being reposted onto Libs of TikTok. A friend of hers was able to get us into contact, and apparently this is the first time that anyone's ever spoken to her about any of these events that isn't trying to use her and her family as right-wing outrage bait. Videos of her family have amassed millions of views, nearly all from spaces that are trying to falsely paint her as a predator by lying about and misrepresenting the video's contents. I think it's important that we hear her story to understand what's really at stake here when misinformation is able to be spread so effortlessly and so closely tied to violent homophobic rhetoric. Here is Shea discussing the TikTok live stream clip from that day in January.
My son literally was just trying to say, if I were not gay, my mother would want me to be an ally. But because he was at the time an 8-year-old child who was like stuttering and stammering over his words, and he used the word convince when he meant, I think, like encourage. And like you could see my older child like turn and like get annoyed because they instantly knew like my brother is saying the wrong word and this is coming out wrong. What's so upsetting to me, like we love to see the innocence of children become popularized and viral with adorable things like Porn Kid and other amazing, wonderful, beautiful angel children who say things in that really cute, special way that children do. And then my son, when talking about the LGBTQ topic, does that cute little innocent thing that kids do and he misuses words. For some reason, we like to take that and change it into something that it's not. The amount of times I've had to like double back and explain that I don't convince or force my children to be queer because of that video. I mean, that's been exhausting. I will say that's been really exhausting.
Next, she detailed what specifically happened on the day of that stream and how immediate the effects were once this unidentified user that shared her stream with Libs of TikTok got what they wanted.
And I don't know how or why Libs of TikTok was even involved in that live stream. Like, we were literally live answering super sweet questions from followers. And then like it just got like dive bombed by a bunch of extra people joining. And then suddenly somebody joined and was like, just so you know, this is everywhere. And it just kind of like, while we were live, blew up on Twitter while we were still live. I had no idea what was happening until like one of the people who were like, I guess a part of it came and like told on them. The questions that led up to that one that ended up being the clip, you know, to start this whole scenario, they were normal questions. And then suddenly it was, does your parents want you to be LGBTQ or something like that? My son was quite literally breadcrumbed along by the question. Whoever took that video, I'll never know who it was. Whoever did it knew exactly what they were doing at that moment.
When you're a parent with LGBTQ kids, once you're shared on this platform, a giant target is painted on your back, which basically means that from then on, you can't do or say anything on the internet without it being taken totally out of context and blown up into something that it's not. Usually something horrible. Take, for example, this clip that Shea posted from a pride parade 8 months after first being featured on Libs of TikTok. Her son wanted to try dancing on this pole, so he went up and spun around a bit. Due to this hate mob's heightened focus on Shea, this moment blew up online. It was covered on Fox News, Daily Wire, the Daily Mail, and more. The coverage is, of course, trying to paint her as a groomer for forcing her kid onto a stripper pole.
You know, we hear about the groomers in the public school system. We hear about groomers in the media and academia and Hollywood and all these other institutions. And it is true that all these institutions do have a grooming problem, no question about it. But the really dark reality is that there's also a grooming problem in the institution of the family.
But that's not what happened. This is a totally innocuous moment of a kid wanting to try something new. No one forced him to do anything. You can hear him ask to go try this thing in the video.
Yes, sir! Yeah, it's okay. Sometimes you lose a shoe. Sometimes I will lose a shoe.
Pole dancing is another thing that's been swept up in this culture war and treated by conservatives as inherently sexual when it's not. Poles like this are used for exercise, artistic expression, acrobatics, and various other non-sexual things. This is a totally harmless, wholesome moment that Shea captured of her family, and it's only been made sexual by the people that choose to sexualize it. People like conservative YouTuber Matt Walsh.
Yes, sir!
Now, this video was posted, I think, but the most important thing to keep in mind here and to take from that is that the video was posted by not a concerned citizen who happened to be walking by and saw this happening, but was posted by the boy's mother. And she said she was very happy about this and put it up on TikTok. I think it's been taken down since then. That shows, by the way, the bubble these freaks live in, that she posted this video and didn't expect any backlash at all. I mean, she's got her young son on a stripper pole being taught how to strip by a almost entirely naked man at a gay pride rally. And she thought that she would get nothing but high fives and smiley emojis in response. And she got some backlash and then she deleted it.
Do you notice how he said that the boy was being taught to strip there? So where was that happening, Matt? The boy here, spinning around on this pole, where is he stripping? Stripping? Do you know what stripping is, Matt? Stripping as in stripping off your clothes. He's not doing anything like that in this video, but it sounds like in Matt's imagination, he is. Matt Walsh is imagining a fully clothed child stripping his clothes off. Seems a bit odd in my opinion. Shea went on to talk about what's happened to her and her family in the aftermath of being swept up in this bigoted media pipeline. They've been harassed and doxxed countless times.
Kiwi Farms, before it was taken down, I was on that. My children's faces, my face, my employer, my address, my mother-in-law, what their names are, my in-laws, where they work, where my wife works, how long she's worked there. I mean, everything you could need to know about somebody to cause bodily harm, they know it. That's tragic. That's terrible. That's, you know, not really a great way to live your life, knowing that you're a working class poor American who has a huge target on your back because you're gay and, you know, raising little gay children. It's scary knowing that the wrong people have that information.
Lastly, I asked Shea specifically about people like a Cheeto, who share these stories uncritically, not necessarily out of malice, but out of ignorance, using them for quick, easy content without thinking about the broader implications.
Begs the question that when he becomes less ignorant and he is informed on how he's helping the pipeline kind of function, will he give a shit? That's the question. Because let me tell you, some of these people who have stitched my video, okay, these, I call them concern trolls. They don't care. Do they care? Will this guy care? I don't know. But most of them I found, they don't care, because at the end of the day, I'm already a used up, crumbled up towel in the corner of their room. They got the coattail ride that they needed for the 500,000 views. I don't think people realize the weight of what they're doing until there's a headline of this person is dead, and then it's a hashtag, and then everybody suddenly cares. And I don't personally want to wait to that point.
This last quote is especially poignant given the violent rhetoric that is so often espoused in these spaces. That video from Matt Walsh, for example, about Shea and her family, ends with a call to violent action against people like Shea.
In many of these families, that's where the grooming starts. And it's really unthinkable to those of us who are normal, decent people. It's like just unthinkable that a parent would engage in this kind of activity. A parent would groom their own child in this way, but that's what a lot of these parents do, which is all the more reason why the good guys have to step up and speak up for these kids, because they have no one. I mean, what chance or hope does this kid have? That this is the environment he's in, this is what his mom is subjecting him to? I mean, someone should have showed up, and I get if you're a normal person, you don't even want to walk through an event like this, but were there no just bystanders who happened to be walking by and would have seen this and could have just went over to that stripper pole and knocked it over and said, "You're not doing this here. This is not going to happen. I'm not going to allow you to do this. You're not putting kids on a stripper pole, you freaks." That's what we need. Someone to step up. Lots of us to step up.
Commenters under Matt's video shared this same sentiment. If anyone thinks this is normal or acceptable, then you are truly void of all morals and anything that is pure. It's just disgusting and devilish. It fills me with so much anger to the point of wishing to act violently on these people. One commenter proudly brags about threatening violence against a trans woman who, it sounds like, as far as we know, was trying to use the bathroom. People need to stand up and say something. Let the freaks know you know what's going on and won't tolerate it anymore. I'm a gay man and stopped a man from entering the women's bathroom in a busy mall. He was in a dress, but fooling no one. I told him to use the single room toilet. I'd just seen a mother and daughter enter, and there was no way he was going in. I did say you can pursue your entry, but it will be with your teeth down your throat. This is the type of stuff that goes on thanks to this pipeline. The promotion of vigilante hate crimes against the LGBTQ community, right out in the open for everyone to see. Shea is just one of the thousands at this point, LGBTQ parents and teachers that have been thrust into this bigoted spotlight. Libs of TikTok finds dozens of new targets every single day. So few of these stories are being told, legacy media can only keep up with the really big ones, the bomb threats and so on. So I do hope that people start covering more of these, or at least reaching out to people that are affected, following up with these families and teachers, because it's not showing signs of slowing down anytime soon. Libs of TikTok, Fox News, The Daily Wire, they all know what they're doing. It's stochastic terrorism, and they make a lot of money doing it. They profit off of this narrative, and would lose big if they ever presented anything to the contrary to their homophobic, terrified right-wing audiences. And the rest, those who share these videos without thinking, who accept their narratives uncritically. People like a Cheeto. Just because they don't have the same goals doesn't mean that they're not helping people like this achieve theirs. This will always be the case, and it will keep happening until it's too late. Okay folks, that's all I wanted to say about that video. This is the last time I will be responding to a Cheeto. I wanted to do one follow-up response, mainly to talk about the Groomer panic stuff, because it's really frustrating to continuously see. Maybe I should have just done this as its own standalone video. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd maybe like to see in the future. Thanks again to Fabulous for sponsoring this video. The first 100 people to use my link from the description will get 25% off on Fabulous Premium. And yeah, okay, bye. See ya.